At this moment, I am running out of subject for my next video in this playlist. Therefore, now I would rather details idioms, as I mentioned many idioms in my previous videos in this playlist, such as video number B002, B007 and so on. Such idioms I was referring are called 成语 in Chinese. Even though 成语 is often translated into idiom, it's a unique form in Chinese culture. So in my personal opinion, there is no exact translation for it. Literally, 成 means accomplished, or in other words, already made or formed, and 语 means spoken language or speech. It is a fixed condensed phrase that idiomatically expresses a fixed complex concept or scene of semantic meaning, often with historical stories and or philosophical meanings. It still plays a very important role today. According to some records, there are about 5,000 成语. The origin of 成语 came from ancient literatures, including poetry, history, novel, etc. As time has progressed in millenniums, these 成语 nowadays can be a reference to understand Chinese history, culture, and custom. Many 成语 also provides lessons on war strategies, daily life and our conduct advices, tips of doing business, good governance guidance, and any other aspects of life. My previous video number B006 gave one of them, 病从口入或从口出. Many 成语 were formed from truncated paraphrases or summaries of origin sentences, sometimes with added particles. So, those 成语 practically are easier to understand. For an example, an auspicious idiom that I used in my video number B005, 黄金万两. However, some 成语 convey meanings that surpass their literal meanings. The only way to understand their logical explanation of the meanings is by tracing their respective historical or story from where they were derived. So, those 成语 are often hard to understand at the first acquaintances. Here is a famous example, 塞翁失马, or an old wise man at the border village lost his horse. Could you guess its meaning? It means a blessing in disguise. How could it be? There's a story behind it. The story came from a book, 淮南子, by 淮南王刘安, or Liu An, king of Huainan in Han Dynasty. Here is the story. Once upon a time, in a village at the border area, there was a respectable old wise man. One day, he lost his best white horse. Neighbors came to comfort him, but he said that this might not come to be a bad thing. A few days later, the lost white horse ran back home and brought with it some horses from outside region. Neighbors then came to congratulate him. But, with a serious face, he said, not be too happy first, as this case might bring a disaster. In riding one of the new horses, his son fell off and broke his leg. Neighbors again came to comfort him. But he was not sad at all, and said that things in the world often happen in unexpected ways, that this occurrence seemed to be a disaster, but it was actually hard to say whether it would be a blessing or a mishap in the end. Sometime later, all young men in the village were recruited into the army for a war near that village. As his son was still in healing of broken leg, his son was exempted from the military service. There were many casualties in the war, and broken leg disaster has saved his son's life. This story taught us that life experiences are hard to predict. After knowing the background story, you now understand why 塞翁失马 is interpreted as blessing in disguise. Today, this idiom is used to comfort those who suffer a disaster. Due to long period of time difference, some 成语 are now interpreted differently or wrongly from their original ones. This one is the frequent instance, 风雪来风, or a hole or a cavity creates wind, which originally means if there is a strong or widespread rumor, it must come with reasons. But it's now mistakenly interpreted in the opposite meaning, as a rumor without a base. That's all for this video number B019 about 成语, and thank you for watching.